So here we have the stock Ferrari, La Rossa, the Italian sports car manufacturer. As you can see, listed here in July 2015, and has had a really nice run upwards. I think this runs in contrast to quite a few of the other motor vehicle stocks that we've seen, which tend to have seen more downwards movement. But I think this is probably more in relation to the capture of the luxury market, and obviously Ferrari being the brand that they are, that is their bread and butter, and quite an interesting ticker as well. I like the name Race. Um, so we'll break down the chart and potential levels to look out for. So we are on the 6 month time frame. So as we can see, each of these candles represents 6 months. So we'll be looking for some levels that we can mark out. So first one that strikes me here is 182, which we'll put that there, and I will make that white, and we'll label 6 months, and I will make that white as well, just to make it easier to read. So we've got 6 month level there. We have another 6 month level just above there. And I think that's about it. So we'll move down the time frame. So we'll move on to the 3 month. So as you can see here, some nice movement up. Obviously, where we've had these 6 months was quite a nice period of consolidation. You've got a really nice period here, which we can see built quite a solid base. All of this very historical. We're looking sort of pre-COVID at this level. But in more recent, we have this level here that sticks out to me. And going up, what can we see? Nothing really standing out here, but I think it's interesting that we've obviously had this really sharp candle upwards in January 2024, and it's left quite a nice fair value gap below, certainly on this time frame. So if we go down onto the monthly, what can we see and what sticks out? So we see really nice period here, fell down, found this support in the 6 month level where it had previously built a base, and we see this quite aggressive run up. Obviously left quite a lot of gaps. You've got a gap there, you've got a gap here that's been filled. But if we zoom in on the monthly, is there any levels up here that we can potentially look at? A little bit more difficult. Obviously, we've seen quite a lot of wicks on the upside here, which indicates that there's quite a lot of liquidity in this area. And this long wick below indicates that there's a lot of liquidity in this area below. So it feels like it's hanging in a balance, which makes it quite nice to trade if you can find the correct direction on it. In terms of levels, nothing is sticking out to me on the monthly. So we will go down onto the weekly and see if we can find anything on the lower time frames. And as you can see, we've had these impulses, sell off, impulses, sell off. That was a very sharp candle. And then this one was also a very, very sharp candle, as we can see. This one was on the back of earnings. I don't know what the trigger for this one is. Possibly tariff news. But as we can see, it came down and found a really nice bounce. So we've seen this working its way back up. There's this period that I quite like here of quite nice accumulation before this impulse. So if I draw a box around this area here, we can see we're starting to move up through there. We've had some nice wicks to the upside. It'll be really interesting to see if it can build a base in here before pushing up. You'd be looking at this to make a higher high. The issue is here we've made a lower low, so I'd want to see some more upwards price action on this. If we look at the FRVP, where does the volume lie in this structure? If we come along here, what sticks out? So we see, yeah, this very much here is the point of control. So if we put a line there, I'll make that line purple. What else can we see? There's a really interesting level here that I will mark out on the upside here at 477, and you can see this level here, which we have just rejected from on the wick. So I will mark this here. So this, for me, feels like a key area to gain. In and amongst that, where else do we have potential reaction zones? I'd be very interested in this zone here at 464. Similarly, the one that sticks out to me is this area here at 449. So we see a couple of really nice staircase rungs as we go up. On the downside, this scares me a little bit, this void. If we go below there, you can see very minimal lack of volume. We've got a wick down here that potentially may get grabbed at some point. This looks really interesting, this bit here. If we draw a line there, this may be a retest zone. Similarly, if we look at where we accumulated on this 3-month back in September 2023, you've got a nice little volume patch there. So if we take that off, we've got some nice zones. So as you can see, we push back down. If we look at this on a daily level, so how can you trade this? Obviously, the volume on this isn't massive, so I don't think this isn't something that you would trade intraday. But certainly as a swing position, this feels like this gap will get filled at some point. I'd probably be watching this to see how it reacts now that it's in this zone. Obviously, we're at the point of control. If we push further down, we may dip into this little liquidity pocket here before pushing up. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So I think from a scenario perspective, you do have a couple of really interesting things. So you could potentially see some accumulation in here, and then a gain of these levels, potentially reject and find support and bounce off either here, here, or here. Alternatively, you may see a push down into this zone here before pushing up and gaining these. Alternatively, from a bearish situation, you may then see fall down here, loses this level. You're looking then for a reaction either here or a fall down and a reaction here. Then worst comes to worst, you look back for a reaccumulation in this zone. This would be a very, very difficult bit of price action. I think down here, this would mark a about 50% pullback on this. So this would be very, very difficult to stomach should you be in this without a plan. In terms of what the analysts say, so where do the analysts have this penned out at? So the analysts have this on a lot of upside. So if we look on what the analyst rating is, on the 26 analyst ratings, we've got 14 strong buy, 4 buy, 6 hold, 1 sell, 1 strong sell. So if we have we've got here the minimum, which is 393. So if we go here, so we'll put this in. We'll put this in white and put lowest analyst. And get off the pen. What else do we have? So on the upside, we have the average of 486. So if we come up here, we've got the average analyst rating just below here, 486. And we have a very, very bullish target of 562 on the upside from the highest analyst, which would put it up here. So yeah, so quite a range there. If we go back out to the weekly and have a look at this, so ultimately it feels quite bullish. Certainly, if you were to go by the analyst reports, you have very little downside. I'd be very wary of this gap here. I think ultimately your point of invalidation for anything would be a loss of this area and a loss of this level. Lose this level, and I think you're heading back down towards here. But on the upside, I'd certainly be looking at how it climbs through here. And if we can push up here and make a new high above these, I think then you're looking at some price discovery and potentially around the highest analyst report at $562. So yeah, let me know if you are trading this, and yeah, hopefully we see some nice price action on Ferrari.